everything and everybody is not always going to be able to have access to you. Everything and not everybody is always going to be in your life. So with that being said, it is time for you to let go of what no longer serves you in order for you to live your best life. Because if you don't, you will stay stuck and stagnant and become miserable and die that way. And that's what you don't want. You've been whining, you've been crying, and you've been asking for a sign. Here it is. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, TYI Guidance, and that is what we're going to be talking about for today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, then that means it's not in line, which means it is not for you. So don't force it. As well as grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. For today's video, we're going to go over and discuss how nothing and nobody is always going to be in your life forever, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, some disclaimers, and certain things that you need to be aware of. So starting off with the introduction, getting straight to the point, the first disclaimer is realizing that nothing in life is going to last forever. And the reason why I had to give you the dramatics, you heard that? You see that? Okay, anyways. You need to understand, because it is that serious. It is that deep. People are like, oh, life's not that serious, not that deep. Sometimes it is. And right now it is. You have to understand that nothing in life is going to last forever. And if you really knew that, if you knew better, you would do better. You wouldn't be worried. You wouldn't be anxious, and you would have no problem letting go. But you are worried, you're anxious, and you struggle with letting go. Ooh, I called you out. Now, if you're new here, we're here to motivate, inform, and educate. In order to do that, we have to be vulnerable, we have to be honest, we have to be authentic, and we have to get straight to the point. So if you don't like those things, a woo jump scare, send and share this video to somebody who does. But if you're here, you already know the vibes. You have to realize how serious your life is. Yes, you don't have to take it serious all day, every day. You're going to have moments where it's going to be playful, it's going to be light, it's going to be joyful, it's going to be peaceful. But when you watch these videos, it's serious. Why? Because there are going to be certain moments in your life where you do need to take things seriously, especially if you plan on having a certain way of living and you want to execute those things. Because in order to be successful, whatever that looks like for you, in order to do certain things, you have to make the time, energy, and effort for it. You have to be intentional. So if you're not intentional, if you don't value, because you have to value things in order to appreciate things, to even receive things, come on somebody, to get what you want, you're not going to be able to understand that, and you're going to continue to hold on to people and places and things and mindsets that don't serve you, that don't align with who you want to be, and complain. It's 2026. You said you wanted to stop doing certain things. You said you want to, okay, be about it and see it all the way through. A lot of you start, stop, see it all the way through. Execute the vision. But in order for you to execute the vision, you have to understand that everything is not meant to stay with you. Everything's not meant to go with you. You do need to take time for yourself. So the second disclaimer is knowing that when you start to make time for yourself and you realize not everything and everybody's meant to have access to you, stand strong on your boundaries. Stand strong on no contact. Stand strong on cutting off certain people, places, and things. Let it go. If you don't learn to let go of what you need to let go of, you're not going to be able to make it make sense, and you're not going to move forward. Letting go of things is really not that hard. You have attachment issues, you have abandonment issues, you don't know how to be alone, and you're insecure. You weren't taught, you weren't shown, and you weren't shown love. But guess what? That's in your past. That's old. You asked for a sign. You said you wanted real friends, blah, 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 blah. Here I am. I've been posting for over 2 years on this account, but if you're an OG, I've been posting since 2019. When you become the best version of yourself, the people, the places, and things that no longer serve you are going to be gone. So therefore, people like me and other people, places, and things that are in alignment with you could come in and to pour into you, because you poured into everybody. You gave, they didn't give back to you. So if you want to receive the same energy that you've been dishing out, you have to make room for it. But in order to make room for it, you have to let go. This doesn't mean that what you're letting go of didn't have a purpose, because that's what we said in the introduction. Once purpose is fulfilled, that's it. Doesn't mean it didn't have value. Doesn't mean it didn't make you feel some type of way. But it's not going to be where you want it to be. And I'll give you guys an example before I give you the recommendations. I personally had a close relationship with my biological father, who has now been deceased for over the past 9 years of my life. When he died, I was very traumatic and in shock and numb, and I was already going through certain things at the time. But looking at it now, yes, during the time having to grieve and having to physically let go of somebody like that birthed me and raised me, yes, it did make me feel extremely vulnerable, and I felt extremely emotional, and I went through a lot. But looking at it where I'm at now, had I not learned to let go, physically at least, of him, I would not have realized certain things about myself, and I wouldn't have been able to move forward. Like, we're going to lose people in our life. We're going to lose jobs in our life. We're going to lose materials in our life because we weren't born with it. I mean, you could physically you could ask for it to be, you know, cremated with you, like if you want to bring your car, and you know, you could put it in your grave or your tombstone or your box, however you're buried. But come on, okay? I'm saying that because when you've gone through enough trauma, you have to learn how to laugh and stuff. They say the funniest people are the most people who've gone through things. Like, you're not going to be able to bring all that stuff with you. And it's like learning to let go of what you need to let go is necessary. And I'm not saying it to be tough, because I've had certain mentors, I've had certain relationships with certain people, and I would be like, oh my God, I'm so sad, my dad is dead. And they were like, TYI Guidance, you have to move forward. Like, you do. We as people have to learn to let go of certain chapters, because the longer we take to learn to let things go, the more difficult and the more challenging it seems. And that is why it seems like things are burdened and heavier than what it needs to be. When it's like, we have to learn to appreciate certain people and places and things for what they are, because we are not going to experience them forever. And the only reason why a lot of times too people are shocked is because sometimes people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone, because it's so familiar to you. Or some of you are familiar with it and you think you're bigger than the program when it comes to life, and you're not. Death is inevitable for everyone physically. So it's like learning to let go of what you need to let go of is also going to be necessary. So the third disclaimer is knowing that once you are able to cut certain people off, once you're able to let go, once you realize when you need to take life seriously, you need to start being present and start focusing on the things that are giving you life and that are helping you today. You have to learn to accept what was. If you didn't like certain choices that you made and you've been given the opportunity to grow or to quote unquote fix them, do that. But holding on to who you used to be and how you used to think in certain people, places, and things when they weren't good for you, it's only going to hurt you. It's not going to help you. And you'll start to have resentment. And a lot of times too, when you're learning to let go of certain people, places, and things, it's not even about you like having to cut people off because you feel like you're better than everyone. It's just everything is not meant to have access to you. Like, I've outgrown a lot of people, and I'm going to continue to outgrow a lot of people, because I personally know, like, I am not meant for that in this lifetime. Some people, yes, you're going to have relationships with 30, 40, 50 bazillion, 20, 30 years. Some people you only going to have relationships with for a day, 2 days, 2 weeks. It's not long term. And if those people in those places and things loved you like you love them, it wouldn't be an issue. And that's the same thing with myself. If my dad loved me, which I know that he did, he would want me to be successful. Because if we're being completely honest, when it comes to me personally, I don't talk too much about myself just yet. My dad played a major part of the person that I am becoming. Like, if it wasn't for him, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, we as people have to learn to appreciate the certain seasons and certain chapters that we were once in, because if not, that's the only time it's hard and difficult. And you guys know I don't like anything that's hard. I don't like anything that's difficult, and I don't like things that are challenging. And I want to dismantle that motion, even though a lot of people love to be like, oh, it's hard. No, it's only hard and difficult because you're not being accountable. It's only hard and difficult because, like I said, maybe nobody taught and shown you. But it's like, you're watching this video, it's not a coincidence. And this is why it's so important to be very intentional. And that's going to be part of the first recommendation. In order for you to accept that nothing and everyone is not going to be in your life, you have to learn how to be intentional. You cannot come to this platform and choose to watch these videos and choose to have your notifications on and not take none of this stuff seriously. You're wasting your time. And not even just on this platform, not even me, anything. You watch stuff, you do stuff, and if you're not doing it with a purpose, if you don't have a reason, regardless of what that reason is, you're going to waste your time. So the second recommendation is to figure out what your purpose is. What do you like in life? What do you want to do in life? That's your purpose. Your purpose doesn't have to be a one-size-fits-all cookie cutter. Your purpose doesn't have to be what you were told or what you have been shown. You get to decide what your purpose is. If you feel like you want to be an astronaut, that's what your purpose is. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom, that could be your purpose. If you want to be a successful doctor, that could be your purpose. If you want to be a firefighter, that could be your purpose. If you want to be a content creator, that could be your purpose. You get to decide what your purpose is, unless you have been, quote unquote, chosen to do other things. And if you're chosen to do other things, then it's a non-negotiable. If you are really chosen, and I don't talk like that, I don't use those words, I don't say God said this, because that's a different topic within itself. But it's like, if you know, it's some things that are non-negotiables in life. There's some things that are inevitable. Like, if you claim to be a certain type of way and to do certain things, you have to let things go. You have to move forward. You can't be upset that you lost certain things. This doesn't mean that, once again, me losing my father, that I didn't feel any type of way, but I had to put my big girl panties on and become an adult. I had to continue to show up and live my life and grow, because he lived his life already. I didn't physically die with him. Like, yes, a part of my energy and a version of me passed away, and that's what I had to grieve, but I'm still alive. And that's a different topic within itself. But it's like, I've had to learn to let go of certain things and realize that certain people weren't going to be in my life forever. And that's why I'm telling you from experience. I'm not saying this to be insensitive. I've gone through a lot other things than just losing my parent that raised me. Everything and everybody's not meant to be in our life. And also, too, when you're in certain environments, you need to start paying attention. If you want to know what your purpose is, you need to start paying attention to how you feel. Like, certain people from my past, I knew I was not in my purpose because I was not safe. I was not safe to be myself. I wasn't able to express myself. I wasn't able to be vulnerable. I wasn't none of those things. And me personally, that's not something I'm willing to compromise. I'm not going to be in environments or around certain people, places, and things, and I'm not able to be myself. Now, does everyone have the capacity to obtain this abundance? No. And that's why I don't want to be around certain people, places, and things. I don't want everyone. But if you are choosing to be here, you're choosing to be here. And that's the same thing with you. If you know you don't have the capacity to deal with certain people, places, and things, you're not a bad person because it's not in alignment with you, but you have to be able to let it go. If you know certain relationships, whether it's coworkers, jobs, friends, family, are not pouring into you, they don't accept you, they don't respect you, why are you around them? Learn to let things be for what it is. All that back and forth is unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. Learn to let go of what you need to let go of so you can move forward and live your best life. Because when you learn to let go of the things that are not serving you, or certain things that you need to outgrow, because it's not the fact that my dad wasn't meant to serve me, like he had me. It's just, I outgrew him in the physical reality. I outgrew him I outgrew. That's what it is. Come on now. I outgrew the version of me that needed him to be like around me, because it's like certain people are in our lives to teach us certain lessons. Like me, I'm telling you, I'm not saying it just because it sounds cute, okay? I'm telling you, certain people come into your life to teach you certain things. My father made me realize, his death made me realize, and I'm saying this in real time, that I needed to be able to show up as the TYI Guidance with him not being here by my side. This doesn't mean that emotionally that I don't have a connection or that it's wrong for me to move on to live my life. No, but that's the reality of life. And obviously my ancestors, God and the universe knew I was capable of moving forward, even though it seemed like my world turned upside down and I got turned every way which lose. And that's the same thing with you. It seems like when we have to let go of certain people, places, and things and outgrow certain things, we're not capable. But if you weren't capable, you wouldn't have been able to lose it, or it wouldn't have been gone. It would continue to stay. Some people may stay longer. Some situations may last longer, but the ones, because eventually all of them are going to come to an end, but the ones that you feel like you can't live without, those are the ones that you need to let go of. Because sometimes those are the ones that you have the strongest attachments to. And like, I know from experience, I was very like this with my dad. Like growing up, like I knew as a little girl, but looking at it now, I'm realizing like, okay. But he's not physically here. That doesn't mean that I can't continue to show up and not live my life. No, it just made me realize like, okay, I needed him the most when I was younger. So therefore, when I become the greatest, and as I'm becoming the greatest version of myself as an adult, I could be the best woman that I could possibly be. And that's the same thing with you, like when you're going through things. So I get it. Like, yes, be emotional. Yes, cry. This is why it's so important to ask questions, go to therapy, go to God, go to the answers, go to the universe, see a psychiatrist. But it's like, we have to learn to let go, like the art of detachment. You have to learn to let go, because it's like, you're going to suffer and you'll struggle. And that pain and that suffering, there's purpose. You have to find it though. So it's like whatever you lost that you feel like you can't let go of and you've been struggling with, or you don't know how, let me know in the comments, ask questions, book your service in your session. If not, follow me on all my social media platforms. All the information is down in the description box below. And if you want me to talk about this in real time, drop the word live on Instagram and on TikTok and we can talk about it there. But it's like, everything and everybody can't go with you. There's a season, there's a chapter, there's a purpose. Learn a lesson to sum up this video, so therefore you can continue to move forward. Because it doesn't make sense to hold on to people, places, and things if it's weighing you down. And it's not that my dad dying was weighing me down. Like, hopefully you guys are making sense of what I'm saying. But it's like, I could still move on and live my life without him physically. Because that's the reality of it. It's not like, oh, I just didn't want my dad to be in my life. He died, you guys. Like, he's dead. He's been dead. And that's why I'm telling you from experience, like, you can continue to live your life. Like, now, of course, how you move on and live your life, it's not going to be what it once was. It's not going to be the same. Like, especially, like I said, when you go through trauma and just things in general, but you still are able to live life. And that's how you know you're evolving and you're growing, because life is not always going to be the same. If you're somebody, regardless if you're struggling and suffering, if you're somebody, like I said, who really claims to be chosen or whatever, you're constantly going to go through changes in life. You're constantly going to have to go through evolution and ups and downs and losing things. And if you're not like losing things, if you're not you're not having to learn to let go of things, how are you going to learn? How are you supposed to ascend? Because that is what life is about. So I love you. You're loved. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Peace.